Hey guys, and welcome to the Working Money Channel. I'm sensing fatigue in the crypto space. It's coming from Vandal here. Please understand that this is exactly how they shake out weak hands. It's not just pullbacks, but consolidations. The real fun has not even begun yet. I mean, I can imagine people feeling a little washed out. Guys, the last time we saw, Bitcoin reach a high, I mean, it really didn't go much past the former all-time high that it reached back on July the 14th. We did see Bitcoin creep up on August the 14th, coincidentally enough. But pretty much since this impulse moved to the upside, we've just seen, sideways movement for Bitcoin. Before that, we saw sideways movement from May till about July. So, I get this sentiment here, and, it's very easy to forget these impulse moves to the upside, these pumps, and especially when they are longer pumps to the upside. So this was from early April all the way to late May. That pump to the upside was significant for Bitcoin. But now we're just kind of hovering. We're just kind of waiting. We can see fear and greed is still sitting at 45. It feels like it's been, vacillating between 40 and 50 for a very long time now. Altcoin season still, in the high 40s. So that's the same for altcoin season. We really haven't seen these two numbers move a heck of a lot. Market cap is at 3.9 trillion, so that's only up by 1.22%. Luckily, we are in the green, but not by much. And this has been the status quo. We haven't seen that influx of money come into the crypto space. The altcoins are up. They're up by a bit. Some coins obviously are doing better than others, but we're waiting for those impulsive moves to the upside, those huge moves like, Cronus coin, CRO, CRO, up 54%. I mean, there's a reason for that, which I'm going to get to in a second here. XRP is also following the same kind of trend. So we did see that new high for XRP back on July the 18th. So, that was more than a month ago now. Since then, we've seen the price drop and, we've just really kind of been waiting for that next move to the upside. Let me throw Fibonacci on here. You guys can see XRP did hit the 0.702, retraced down here, came back down to the 0.236. And now we're just kind of finding our equilibrium here. We do need now to get up past all these levels. We need to break through these Fibonacci levels. And that might happen very quickly. It is going to depend on, what Bitcoin does. But I can understand the fatigue and, I can understand being a bit frustrated with it, especially if it is your first bull run. The green line has been resistance on the XRP to BTC chart pair for over 6 years. This is coming from Galaxy here on Twitter. But now looks like the timing is perfect, as breaking out will put us well into price discovery on the USD pair. Guys, let's take a look at the XRP to Bitcoin chart on the weekly, okay? So let's bring up XRP to BTC, and I'm going to bring up the Binance chart, going to remove all that stuff. I'm going to throw that on the weekly, so you guys can see weekly trend here. Just going back to where we have been seeing resistance. We're pretty much sitting right on top of resistance at the moment. So former resistance, it's kind of more along there, give or take a few points, but we're pretty much lining up with it in there. We've seen it go above that point there, like back in April 2017, of course, back in December of 2017. And in 2020, we did see it pop up above resistance. Of course, April and May of 2021, that is, when we saw XRP's localized high from back in 2021. And now, guys, we're just kind of flirting with that level again, okay? We're forming what is looking like a bullish pennant pattern underneath resistance, but this could pop off very soon. For more information on how I'm treating this crypto run, follow me at patreon.com/workingmoneychannel. I'm going to be holding a live Q&A session, I believe. Going to be holding that on Saturday. I think this time it's going to be Saturday, August the 30th. But you got to be a Patreon subscriber. It is only $5 a month. You got to subscribe and stay subscribed, though, to lock into the old school subscription price. If you are feeling frustrated, if this is your first bull run, and you want to pick my brain, my DMs are open over there at patreon.com/workingmoneychannel. And of course, bring your questions to the live Q&A this coming Saturday. Hopefully we do break up above resistance. I mean, the CRO coin has been doing quite well. And I'm sure if you've signed up for crypto.com, you probably received this email. We would like to share with you the latest news involving CRO, Yorkville Acquisition Group, Trump Media and Technology Group Corp, and crypto.com announced that they have entered into a definitive agreement for a business combination to establish Trump Media Group CRO Strategy, Inc., a digital asset treasurer company focused on the acquisition of the CRO coin, or Cronus. At the close of the business combination, Trump Media Group CRO Strategy would be the first and largest publicly traded CRO treasury company, as well as what we believe to be the largest digital asset treasury company to asset market cap ratio in history. So this has been the latest news for CRO. Let's just bring up the Crow cryptocurrency from crypto.com, and you guys can see just over the last few days here, how much did it go up? It went up 126%, okay, in the last day. Sorry, that is the weekly chart. Let me throw that on the daily, and you guys can see the last few days have been quite well, but even just from the last day, it's 36%. These days have routinely seen double digits. This one was 28%, and the one before that was 30%, give or take. So a lot of volume on the Crow chart. That is why we are obviously seeing Crow gaining a lot of traction. Some other news with regards to Crypto.com, though. VeChain Foundation selects Crypto.com for secure institutional custody and liquidity. For those of you guys who have joined the Patreon, you know that VeChain is one of my, it's one of my legacy coins, but it's also part of the $15,000 plus portfolio. And you can see exactly what I'm holding over there at patreon.com/workingmoneychannel. Sometimes I do bring VeChain news to the table. This is from a couple weeks ago now. I missed this one. Crypto.com announced today a partnership with the VeChain Foundation to provide secure custody support for VeChain and VeThor. Those are the native tokens of the VeThor blockchain. This collaboration expands institutional access to the VeChain Thor network, a public blockchain enabling transparent information flow, efficient collaboration, and high-speed value transfers for everyday B2B and B2C applications. Crypto.com Custody offers custody services to eligible institutions and high net worth clients through a comprehensive end-to-end solution with safety and security at its core. And through this partnership, guys, institutions can securely store, manage, and transact VET and VTHO using Crypto.com's regulated institutional grade custody platform. It's looking as though Crypto.com is also angling to become one of those institutional grade applications, one of those institutional grade platforms that institutions are going to use for their services. And, you know, that's also mirrored with the brand new Trump Media acquisition or partnership that was just announced a couple of days ago. So we got some good quality assets like VeChain partnering up with Crypto.com for institutional grade custody applications. But we've also got an XRP derivative product going crazy on the Toronto Stock Exchange, guys. It did just recently close up on Tuesday. This coming from Michael Branch here. North America's first spot XRP exchange traded fund is delivering strong returns despite ongoing market volatility. This is the Evolve XRP ETF, and it's listed on the Toronto Stock Exchange. It closed up 3.2% on Tuesday, so that was on the day, and 37.6% higher since its June 18th debut. On Wednesday, it closed 13.51. The product launched by Evolve Funds Group is the second spot XRP ETF worldwide, following Brazil's Hashdex fund. And so we've got one in Brazil, we've got one in Canada. When are the US ones coming? Well, hopefully we get approval by the end of October or mid-October maybe. Evolve offers the ETF in multiple versions, and so it gives you guys the versions here with management fees capped at 0.89%. While the fund initially tracked XRP's choppy performance, recent gains have shifted investor sentiment in its favor. And of course, we are now just waiting for those US ETFs. Bloomberg intelligence analysts estimate a 95% chance of approval this year, with key deadlines between October 18th and October 25th. So that is hopefully when we're going to see approval for those ETFs from institutions like Franklin Templeton, Wisdom Tree, Grayscale shares, Grayscale, 21 shares, CoinShares, Canary, and Bitwise. In the meantime, guys, we are just waiting patiently. So wanted to thank Michael, wanted to thank Galaxy, and wanted to thank Vandell for posting those. With the state of the XRP Ledger in Q2 of 2025, I think we should be getting very excited. This coming from Crypto Eddie. A new extensive report commissioned by Ripple has been published regarding the XRP Ledger. And so she says there's lots to unpack here. In Q2, notable approved amendments occur. The RWAs are up, along with fungible tokens. However, all measured network metrics declined, except for total addresses, which increased 4% quarter over quarter from 6.3 million to 6.5 million. The XRPL EVM sidechain developed by PeerSys went live on June the 30th, providing the XRP Ledger ecosystem access to EVM developers and functionality with a general purpose scope. We also had Axelar, a full stack interoperability protocol, i.e. a crypto overlay network, integrated the XRPL at the end of June alongside the launch of the XRPL EVM sidechain, connecting the XRP Ledger ecosystem to 60 plus networks, including the Ethereum and Cosmos ecosystems. Additionally, Wormhole announced a partnership with Ripple to integrate its cross-chain messaging infrastructure with both the XRPL and XRPL EVM sidechain, enabling developers to transfer XRPL assets across more than 35 supported chains. These integrations make it easier to source liquidity from many of the highest TVL networks. So that is pretty much what we have seen in Q2 of 2025. A lot of great improvements here over the XRP Ledger. And, we are just expecting more to come. So I wanted to thank Crypto Eddie for posting that. Here's a new development, guys. Ripple posted this, enabling a new era of efficiency for on-chain finance. So the RLUSD is a crucial piece to Aave's Horizon platform, allowing tokenized products to be used as collateral and flow more efficiently across markets. So Aave did just recently launch, and the RLUSD is going to be central. The platform allows borrowing USDC and RLUSD and Aave's GHO against a selection of token funds, making real-world assets useful capital. Aave Labs did recently just launch Horizon, its new platform dedicated to institutional borrowers to access stablecoins using tokenized versions of real-world assets, or RWAs, like US Treasuries as collateral. At launch, institutions will be able to borrow RLUSD and USDC, and Aave's coin, as we mentioned before, including Superstate's short-duration US Treasuries and crypto carry funds, Circle's Yield Fund, and Centrifuge's tokenized Janus Henderson products. So many different products available there. The platform aims to offer qualified investors with short-term financing on their RWA holdings and allow them to deploy yield strategies. With Horizon, first announced in March, Aave aims to tap into the rapidly growing 26 billion tokenized asset market and turning those assets into usable capital for institutions. So they are just, this is just the beginning. They are starting. They have just launched. And right now, guys, this is not scale. This is what it feels like it's a big deal for us right now, and even Ripple is making a big deal about it. RLUSD is a crucial piece to this, right? Allowing tokenized products to be used as collateral, and they're going to be leveraging the RLUSD to do so. But really, this is still just in its infancy. They are saying, though, that it is rapidly growing, 26 billion in tokenized assets, and turning those assets into usable capital for institutions. Tokenized assets are projected to balloon into a multi-trillion-dollar market. So, we're only seeing 26 billion at the moment. Can you imagine what it's going to look like when it's in the multi-trillions of dollars? Tokenized assets are projected to balloon. I already said that, excuse me. However, efforts to make RWA tokens useful in a decentralized finance lending market are in the early innings, limiting their practical use. So right now, we just don't have the use cases, and we don't have the full infrastructure up and running. But as we move further into the future, guys, this is going to change. I'm going to read you this quote. Horizon delivers the infrastructure and deep stablecoin liquidity that institutions require to operate on chain. This is going to lock 24/7 access, transparency, and more efficient markets. And that's coming from the Aave Labs founder, Stain Kulchov. So big news there, guys, coming for RWA's real-world asset implementation using the RLUSD as one of those avenues to on- and off-ramp. So is it a surprise that we are now seeing famous artists like Big Sean coming out saying it's not too late to invest in crypto?
And if it is one time that I'm going to say this is not, you're not too late. Invest in crypto right now. Tonight if you can. Do that shit tonight. You're gonna get a return from it. Bitcoin is a good one. Ethereum. What's the other one you said? Ripple. Invest in that shit. I'm telling y'all right now, this is a quick flip. Do it tonight. It's about to go up. I think it's about to go up. It's not like I got no insider information. I think it's about to go up. But look.
Well, it's not like he's got insider information, and I'm sure he's saying not financial advice to the crowd there. But he did mention Bitcoin, he did mention Ethereum, and he did mention Ripple, XRP. You can hear somebody in the crowd shouting XRP. That courtesy from Altcoin Daily. And then we have this OnlyFans girls bullish on XRP.
Need help.
Okay.
Investing. Don't know what to do, what it is, but I need help. I need help.
Okay, so I would recommend, so me personally, I have 1.3 million in XRP. So right now it's about $2 and something cents, but the community knows that when I know it will bump up to $10, I'm going to be basically set for life. So I would highly recommend buying XRP. Why are you crying?
What the hell did you just say?
XRP.
I couldn't even understand what X could even stand for.
It doesn't stand for anything. It's just XRP doesn't stand for anything explicitly. It's just
I'm screwed. Crypto men, come this way. Help me.
Just put money into XRP and then you're set for life.
Put my money in it.
Or just spend it all, whatever you want to do.
Well, will the IRS come after me if I, they won't come after me if I do that?
You haven't paid taxes in 2 years, so they're going to come after you anyway.
Not if I had my money in this XPR stuff. Right?
So it looks like everybody's getting on the boat. I don't know how popular these girls are. But I guess they're famous enough for this clip to have gone viral. I saw it numerous times over there on Twitter. Apparently, she posted that on her Instagram account back on. I read somewhere somebody said that she posted it on June the 13th, and so she said she put in $1.3 million into XRP, and just kind of going back to that original tweet, I'm sensing fatigue in the crypto space. If you put 1.3 million into XRP back on the, let's call it the 13th of June. So that would be here. That would be that candlestick there. That would have been somewhere in and around $2.15, $2.16 per coin. We'll call it $2.15 even. Let's see how much XRP she has, guys. Divided by $2.15. Wow, 604,651 XRP. And then you divide, let's multiply that actually by today's price, which is in and around $3. 651 times $3. Wow, she's up to $1.8 million. So up $500,000, guys, over $500,000 since June 13th. Pretty good, pretty good. I think her friend should take her advice, especially if you guys believe in Don Kwok's prediction of a $1,000 XRP. So I talked about this a few weeks ago originally, and I'll link that video up here in the top right-hand corner. In this clip, Dom Kwok expands a little bit on his prediction with Paul Barron on the Paul Barron podcast. Listen to this.
And this goes back to my final question to you, Dom, is, you had, I think it was $1,000 price thesis. Was it based on the Swift model starting to shift, the growth of the XRP ledger, or potentially the growth of stablecoin, or kind of a combination of all?
Yeah, I mean, that's an interesting question, and a lot of people asked for the sort of more detailed explanation, which I'm currently working on sort of putting out. But I think for the purpose of this, at a high level at least, it's a combination of all of them. Obviously, Swift is a big component, but then a lot of it is actually driven by the use cases that we're actually seeing on the ground, in person, in real life. All of these incredible projects that are coming out and actually utilizing the XRP ledger in different ways. Obviously, DeFi and finance are a huge use case, but then also, like I was talking about before, billions and billions are transferred internationally from people in the US to people abroad, both in terms of business, remittances, but then also in terms of charity, and all sorts of use cases. And ultimately, when those applications really start to get used on an institutional level, that's really where you start to see not only more activity on the XRP ledger, obviously a huge, multiple times explosion, but also you start to see people focused more in terms of just retail, looking at the tech underlying it. That's why companies like Nvidia, for example, have seen 1,000-fold increases in the price, is because retail start to come and they start to see, oh, okay, AI is really taking off now. What's the best way I can actually invest in that? It's through the products that Nvidia makes. And so ultimately, I think that's going to be a really interesting part of the whole story, is when those sort of 93% of people, obviously less accounting for people who don't have access to the internet, etc. But that huge proportion of people who don't currently own crypto come into the space and figure out that XRP exists.
So well, and you've got the
pressure upwards on the price.
Exactly. You got the obviously the ETFs, but I think also the professional money managers will start to see it.
Exactly.
Digital assets in general, and it
and
changes
it'll really benefit.
Outlook.
Yeah, it'll really benefit the top 10, I think, and obviously the top 5, we'll see the biggest increases, Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, etc. But then also, the fund managers don't often like to delve really far down, and take more speculative bets. So the ones with the most volume, the tokens, that look the most attractive to them, will be naturally the ones on the top of that coin market cap list, so to speak.
So it's not going to just be one factor. It's a whole bunch of things combined that's going to get XRP price up to $1,000 per coin. And it's interesting what he says about NVIDIA there. Once you do see more applications for the product, you're going to think, okay, how is NVIDIA going to allow for more adoption and allow for more products to be used? Of course, that has 1,000x'd NVIDIA, apparently. I haven't checked out the chart, but that's what Dom says there. So guys, an XRP price at $1,000 per coin. I mean, currently we're sitting at about $3 per coin. That's not even 1,000x. That is 333x as of the time of this recording. So let's just wait and see how high is this thing going to go. And get your questions ready if you guys are signed up for the Patreon. Going to be having the live Q&A event this Saturday, August the 13th. You can find out more information over there at patreon.com/workingmoneychannel. And there's only 4 days left, guys, to purchase Working Money Channel merch at a 15% discount. I'm offering the discount until the end of August. Link is in the description of the video if that's something you're interested in. But that's just my opinion. I want to hear what you guys think. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Like the video if you like the content I'm providing. I always love hearing your comments. See you in the next one, guys.